Hi, this is Pamela of Pamela's Portrayals, and today I'm going to show you a knife painting. It's also called an impasto painting. I will be using painting knives, but if you're at home, you don't have a painting knife, if you have a credit card or a store card that you no longer use, that you will not be using, there are ways that you can cut that up and get the flat surface that you need to do this painting. So we'll take a break here and then we'll get started. Thank you. All right, today what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try to do two paintings, and I'm going to use a brush, a flat brush, to do the background. Now you can do this with painting knives, but I am not going to, because I want to be able to get this dry pretty quickly so I can start on the painting knives. I just did something there that I shouldn't have, but this is all going to be the same color anyway. So got about this much paint. I've got quite a bit of paint on that one, and we're just going to get started. And I just want to get paint on this canvas. I'm going with, it is a titanium white and an unbleached titanium paint. I believe it's the Basic brand. This is going to give me kind of a creamy color in my background, which is what I want. Again, you do want to remember to paint your sides, but I will be doing that at the end of my painting. It's okay if some of the areas are darker than others. That is perfectly all right. If you're somebody who likes it all to be the same color, then you can just mix up a larger amount. I don't want mine to be the same color. You will notice that this canvas that I'm using has some little indentations on it. There is a way to get rid of those, and I will do that at a later time. That'll be another show that I do to show you how to get rid of those, and I'm not really worried about that right now. I just want to get this on here. Sometimes when you buy canvas, they'll be a little loose, and there is a way to tighten those up without unstapling them. And like I said, that'll be a class that we'll have at another time. Okay, I'm getting close here to the bottom. Now what I will do sometimes, not all the time, is I will work on two paintings at once. And how I do that is I'll start, like if I'm going to do two paintings and I know that I'm going to do the background on both of them, I'm going to have just a regular background on both of them, I can do those at the same time. For example, I've got this one done. And now I'm going to reach and do my other one. This is a nice canvas. It looks really good. There's no indentations or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and just cover this canvas. This one so far is looking a little bit darker at the top. I think I want to lighten that up just a little bit. If you watched the previous painting video, you know that sometimes you can lighten a color on your canvas, and that's what I'm going to be doing here. It was a little darker in the corner than what I wanted it. You do have to be careful when you put extra paint on the canvas after it's already got some paint on there, that you don't get it too thick. And what I did is I was just smoothing that area out. Now you may not have been able to see on the other canvas that I had a darker area and lighter areas. On this one though, I think you're going to be able to see that darker area right there. Again, this is kind of an X shape. I'm just kind of going over it. If you wanted, this is going to leave me with a little bit of texture on the surface. If you wanted it to be really smooth, Once you got the paint on, you could go then back over and smooth it out like that, either horizontally or vertically. I am now looking like I'm going to need some more paint. I'll pull this down. I want to cover all of my canvas. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking I've got a lot of dark on that one side and not very much on the other side. So I am going to get a little bit more unbleached titanium and add to my plate there. I'm going to put some darker over here. And a little bit more down here. A little bit more white. And again, you do want to paint your sides. The canvas that I'm using has about a 1/2 inch thick side. There are canvases that you can get, the gallery wrap canvases, which has like an 1.5 inch side. Those are going to cost more money. The back of this is stapled in the back, and those are really nice. This can be framed in a regular frame, or it can be hung on the wall. The gallery wrap canvases, though, normally are just put on the wall because of having such a thick side. We're going to take a break now and get these all dried for you. All right, so I have dried both of my canvases, and I'm going to get ready. Normally, when I'm going to do a knife painting, I don't do a lot of drawing, but to give you an idea of where I want the placement of my flower, I'm going to draw something on. So we're going to have the stem come up like that. You may not be able to see that. It is on there. And then I think I'm going to have the flower, the base of it about right there. So this just kind of gives me an idea of what I want to do. I'm going to start first by using some painting knives that I have. I have a large selection of them. And I happen to know in the ones that I grabbed to use for this painting video, I did not get my favorite one. So I'm going to improvise, and I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to use this one to start out with. Now again, don't be concerned if you don't have a painting knife at home. I'm going to show you in a little bit how you can use a credit card that I've used. I've cut up one, and we'll use that for the second painting. So for this first painting, I'm going to use this darker color here, and I'm going to come in and just take some paint like that. I don't know if you can see that. And then I'm going to come over here. This was my base, so I'm going to come here and I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to pull that out. Now I dried my background because I wanted to be able, I didn't want the paint moving around. I wanted some of my background to be there to show through. Got kind of a solid look there right here in this area, but here kind of like that look a little bit better. So I've already started this side though, more solid. So I'm going to continue with that, and I'm going to come down. Painting knives are really a lot of fun. This is an abstract painting, so it doesn't have to look exactly like anything. Now you'll see I can pull it that way, or I can pull it that way. Come up here, think I'm going to go out a little bit more out on this side. And maybe down here a little bit more. Cover more of my canvas. But here in the middle, I think I'm going to come down this way too. Okay, so this, as I'm looking at this in here is going to be my darker area. This is where the middle of my flower is going to be. So that's why I was okay with leaving that a little bit darker. And I'm going to mix a little bit of white here with this. I'm going to put some lighter colors. Maybe down here, so that you can see that's different than the middle. And I'm thinking I even want maybe a different color. Let's see. Got some other colors back here. Put a little bit of aqua in there too. You can do a solid color or you can mix it like I'm doing. I think that aqua is going to look nice in there. I don't want to go too far down this middle here because I don't want to cover up my center there. Now I'm just using one knife, and like I said, this was not my favorite knife, so I'm not as familiar using it as I am with some other knives that I have used in the past. Let's put a little more green in here. And here I'm just going to kind of blend that a little bit, being careful to save my center there. Okay, so now what am I going to do with that center? I'm actually going to put some gold in it, but because my center's still wet, I'm not going to do that yet. And again, this is just an abstract painting. I've got, like here around the sides, probably need to get a little closer to those edges. Don't want to leave space there. It's going to look like your flower just stopped there before the edge. But that is also something you can do once you're done. Okay, so I've got this part done. Now I'm going to clean my knife off, and I do want to show you the difference. There are some people, this flat knife is a palette knife, It's used to mix paint on your plate. I don't use these a lot. You can use them. It saves your brushes, saves a lot of wear and tear on your brushes. You can also use it in here. But as far as painting this knife, you can use it. If you happen to have, let's see, what was those knives called that you, I can't remember the name of it, but you can use any kind of flat surface and use it. It just doesn't work as well as this one because this keeps it up off the canvas so you're not pressing the whole thing on the canvas. Okay, so now I'm going to use a little bit different knife. This is a thin knife, and I'm going to use this with some black paint to do my stem. I'm not going to need a lot of paint. And again, I could do this stem with the other little knife, but this one is a little bit easier. I just add all that black paint there on that, and then I'm going to come down like this. Now I made that nice and thick. You don't have to. If you want it streaky, just don't put as much paint on it. But I'm also going to need another part of the stem, or I'm sorry, of the flower. I'm going to clean that off. You do want to clean these off. It's harder to get it off once it's dry. And I am, again, using acrylic paint. I'm going to try another little knife, this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some black on this edge of it. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put the base of my flower in. Just like that. And you can make that wider if you want. And I'm going to clean my knife off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break and I'm going to dry this, and then I'm going to put my gold in. Okay, so I've dried most of this, and while looking at it, I'm thinking there's still some areas that I feel like I should go ahead and fill in a little better. So I'm going to do that. I think I want this area out here to be out a little farther. And the same with this down here. I think I'm going to pull that down. Okay, I think I like that a little bit better. I'm going to clean this off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the center. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put just a little bit of black here in the center. So you can see that that's the center of my flower. You don't have to do that, but I just felt like it needed to be a little bit darker. It is messy. You may want to wear gloves. I normally do, but I'm not wearing them today. Okay. Cover some of this up more. Got a lot of turquoise down there. Okay. Something about this I don't like. So I'm going to lighten that up. Put some turquoise in there. Okay. Now, I think I like that maybe a little better. I might go back and add just a little bit, some more dark in some areas of it, so I don't have all turquoise. Break that up there a little bit, over here. Okay, I think I kind of like that now. Clean my knife off really good. And then I'm going to start with my gold. Now, well, I'm looking at this and I really need to pull my black over just a little bit here. I think it needs to be over this way just a little bit more. I'd like to have it kind of even with this, so a little bit more. Okay. And now I'm going to use the gold. This is a new thing of gold, and with some brands like this one, the Master's Touch, it does have a seal on it to help keep it fresh. You don't want to leave the lids off your paint. Acrylic paint will dry out. Okay, at this point now there's a couple of things I could do. I could use this round brush and put some dots in there, or I could use a flat edge here and pull some gold out with the dots out there. So I'm thinking, what do I really want to do? I think I'm going to pull it out. So I'm dipping this in my gold paint, and then I'm going to come here and I'm just going to pull out some of the gold. Kind of want you don't want it extremely thick, but you do want it on there thick enough that you're going to be able to see it. Now remember, as you're pulling into that black, you could pick up, and I did pick up some black on my knife, so you want to clean that off. It's not showing up a lot in my black because my black is not dry, so sometimes if you just touch it on the canvas, that will leave it on the wet area. Kind of like that. Okay, I'm going to put one more line in, And then I'm going to put some dots in. So I've got that. Cleaning my knife off. Now for my dots, I'm going to use the tip of this knife and just drop those in there. And I am just going to use the tip of the knife to do that. So then I'm going to just kind of put some little dots there. I'm thinking I need maybe some little dots a little bit closer to the center. So I'm going to put in some shorter lines. So I don't want to just have it all on the edges, away from the center. So we've got a couple of little ones like this I'm going to put out there. Now I could use this one and just drop some little dots out there. And so this is kind of going to be the painting done with our painting knives. And I am now going to switch over. Oh, wait a minute. I want to put one more out here. It looked lonely out there. I want to leave a little area lonely. Okay. So this is it. And I think it was a really quick painting. It didn't take that long to do. Pretty simple. You can use, I could have used a lot of different colors, but I just chose these colors. Of course, now that I'm looking at, you know what, let's put just a little bit. I'm going to have some of that green, that aqua green up here, I think, to pull it in. Okay, but now I'm going to do the other painting using the credit card so you can see the difference. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to work with the cut up, and it doesn't really matter how you cut it up, but the cut up cards. I'm going to be using some different colors. I'm going to show you how this works. So basically I'm going to do 3 little flowers. So this is going to be one. I'm going to have one coming up here and one coming here. And so this is just kind of, you know what, I'm going to drop this down a little bit. So this is just going to kind of show me where my flowers are going to be. You know what, I want to leave it. So using this card, I'm going to start with my blue one first. And I did put gloves on because I made a terrible mess the other time. Okay, so here we are. We're going to use a credit card. And I'm using the corner. And again, this is an abstract painting. It's not going to look like a realistic flower, but you're definitely going to be able to tell that it's a flower. I'm going to put some darker area here in the middle. I'm going to pull this out. I just hit, the reason this is getting dark, you can see the line here. That's from the wood that's on the back. So we don't want that. We're going to have to be lighter when we work this area. Don't press as hard so you don't get that line. And I ran into the same thing up here. I'm sitting kind of at an awkward, trying to do this on the side, and it's a little harder than if you're sitting right in front of it. I might pull this up a little bit so I can get to it a little bit easier. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to use this one. And we don't want to leave those lines there. Okay, so this flower is going to come like this. And I'm going to come over here and do this one. I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Again, we don't want you to be able to see where that piece of wood is underneath it, so you're going to have to come back over it a little bit lighter. I'll pull this down a little more. And the marks that I made on the paper were just a guideline. And I'm going to be honest, I've never actually used a credit card to paint on canvas. There are things that I've used a credit card for in watercolor, but I've never actually used it on canvas because I got me some painting knives and I like them and I use them a lot. Okay, so let's see, let's make this one just a little bit bigger. Expand that a little bit. And maybe add just a little bit, instead of having it all one color, I am going to add some different colors, kind of get them all connected. And let's see, on the blue, don't like the way that looks, so I'm going to come back and fill that in. These flowers are going to look a little bit more abstract than the other ones I did. Now that is not because of the card, but simply because that's kind of the look I'm going for. I want that area a little bit darker in there, and then I'm going to smooth that out. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my card off, and I'm going to go back And I'm going to put the black in where the center of the flower is going to be. This one's kind of little over here, so let's make it a little bigger. There you go. Then let's say I need to put in the little part that connects to the stem. And I just got that on my finger. All right, I don't want that in there. So we can take a brush, and I know, and if you watch the last painting video, you can see that we can get rid of this pretty easily as long as it's still wet. And so I've just wet my brush, and I've gone over here, and I'm just going to walk that right back to the line here. Okay, now you notice I have not dried anything. I'm working with this one totally wet. I'm thinking I need a little bit darker color in here. So I'm going to go back. Can't find my original piece of card that I was working with. So I've got another half of the card, and I'll just use it. But I think I'm just going to make this a little bit darker in here. Maybe make this a little lighter. Okay. Now I'm going to put my stem in. I'm going to take and just kind of run it through here like this. And we're going to put a stem in. And we're going to come here and we're going to put another stem in. And then we're going to, of course, put that stem in. Got an area there where you can't really see the stem, so I'm going to kind of make this one a little thicker. So we've got this going. It's looking pretty good. I am now going to clean this off, and I'm going to put my gold in. Now, I am a little concerned what that's going to look like since it's all still wet. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to put these in like this. Again, you will get black on there because it is wet. If you dry it, you won't have that problem. Put a few more in here. A few more in there. And a couple more over here. And now I'm ready to put my little dots in. And we're almost done with this painting. And you can see it really didn't take a long time. Again, I want some shorter ones in there too, so it doesn't look like they just all stick out too far. Let's do some shorter ones here. A little bit shorter there, and maybe there. That's almost as long as the other one. Here, we'll put some short ones. You can tell I've got really messy hands now. So yeah, when I use my painting knives, I wear gloves because it's a very messy medium. Can be, unless you're just somebody who's really neat, and I'm not. So we are almost done. So if you've got some paint at home, you'd be able to do this even if you don't have any painting knives. And some of you may think that you like this one better than the one with the painting knives. I'm almost thinking that I do. If I can find my other one, I'll compare them. I'll show you what they look like together. I always like to put just a little bit of bling in my paintings. If you don't like the shiny stuff, you don't have to. You could totally do this a different way. Use different colors. But I think I'm just about done there. You want to make sure you clean your card off because you will be using it again. And let me see if I can hold this painting next to that one. And you really can't tell a lot of difference. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. We are done. Please, if you have any questions or if there's something that you would like to see, please let me know. Thank you.